The chandeliers in the grand ballroom cost more than most people's houses. I should know, I approved the purchase order. It's 6:47 p.m. on what should be the happiest day of my sister's life, and I'm watching her bridesmaids physically push me toward the service entrance. 200 guests are staring. My mother won't make eye contact. Staff uses the back, my sister Claire hisses, her $12,000 Vera Wang dress rustling. You're embarrassing me. The worst part wasn't that she didn't know I owned this hotel. The worst part was that she did. Let me back up 6 months. My name is Jordan Hayes, and I'd spent 12 years building something my family knew nothing about. Not because I was hiding it, because they never asked. When you're the youngest of 3 kids and your siblings are a cardiothoracic surgeon and a corporate attorney, people stop asking what you do around year 2 of hotel management. The Grandview Hotel started as a dying 3-star property I bought for $2.3 million in 2019. Everyone said I was insane. The place had 47% occupancy and a 1-star Yelp rating that mentioned bed bugs in the first 3 reviews. I lived in room 412 for 2 years, 70-hour weeks. I stripped wallpaper at midnight, negotiated with suppliers at dawn, trained housekeeping staff in between. My hands knew every radiator, every loose floorboard, every temperamental light switch in all 156 rooms. By 2024, we were a Forbes 4-star property with 94% occupancy and a waiting list for our Michelin-recommended restaurant. My family's understanding of this. Still doing the hotel thing? Mum would pat my hand at family dinners. That's nice, dear. Claire just made a junior partner. Or, Marcus performed a triple bypass on a senator. I stopped correcting them around year 3. The engagement happened at Christmas. Claire announced it with the same energy she brought to closing a merger, efficient, triumphant, with a 3-page spreadsheet of vendors. I'm thinking of the Grandview for the reception, she said, scrolling through wedding venues on her tablet. It's that boutique place downtown. Probably expensive, but Marcus is paying. I looked up from my wine. The Grandview Hotel? You've heard of it? I guess even smaller properties get around on Instagram these days. She zoomed in on a photo of our ballroom. Their event coordinator quoted me $45,000 for 200 guests. Highway robbery, but the aesthetic is perfect. My business manager Rachel copied that quote. We'd gone back and forth about Claire's inquiry for an hour. Should I tell her? Rachel had texted. Not yet, I'd replied. Let's see where this goes. I wish I could say I had noble reasons. Truth was, I wanted to see if my sister would recognize my achievement when it was staring her in the face. If maybe just once, she'd be curious enough about my life to connect the dots. I can probably get you a family discount, I said carefully. Claire laughed. Jordan, sweetie, this isn't a Holiday Inn. These places don't offer discounts. It's fine. Marcus's family has money. Marcus's family, not even her own money. The irony burned. 3 months before the wedding, my mother called. Claire needs a favor, she said. No greeting. The hotel is being difficult about some of her special requests. Can you talk to them? Use your hospitality experience? I was in my office, reviewing architectural plans for our new spa wing. What kind of requests? She wants to bring her own caterer and use different linens, and they're saying something about permits for the ice sculpture she wants in the lobby. I'm sure if you explain that you work in hotels, they'll be more flexible. I pinched the bridge of my nose. The ice sculpture would block the fire exit. The different linens were cheap polyester that would photograph terribly. The outside caterer hadn't provided proper insurance documentation. Mom, those are standard policies. I knew you'd make excuses. Never mind. Claire will handle it herself. She always does. She hung up. I pulled up Claire's contract. She'd been emailing my events team 17 times a day for 2 weeks, demanding custom paint colours in the ballroom, insisting we remove historical photographs because they didn't match her vision, asking us to close the restaurant during her cocktail hour so her guests wouldn't be disturbed by tourists. My head of events, Patricia, 23 years of experience, ran events for diplomats and celebrities, had noted in the file, "Difficult client, treating staff poorly, please advise." I scheduled a coffee with Claire. We met at the cafe where we used to study for finals back when I was in community college and she was at Yale. She arrived 14 minutes late, phone pressed to her ear, and didn't apologize. "So the hotel is being completely unreasonable," she started, not bothering with hello. "They won't let me use my own caterer. They're insisting on some ridiculous fire code thing with the ice sculpture, and the event coordinator has this attitude like I'm bothering her by planning my own wedding." I stirred my coffee slowly. "Patricia is one of the best in the business." "Oh, you know her name? That's cute." Claire's smile was sharp. "Look, I need you to call them and say you're in the industry. Throw some weight around. Tell them you'll leave bad reviews or whatever it is you people do." You people. "Claire, those policies exist for reasons." "God, you sound just like them." She checked her phone. "I don't have time for this. Marcus's mother says we should just book the Ritz, but I already sent save the dates with the Grandviews ballroom in the photo. Do you know how embarrassing it would be to change?" My coffee had gone cold. "When you toured the hotel, did you notice anything?" "What do you mean?" "The lobby, the restaurant, the photographs in the halls." She blinked. "It's nice, very Instagram-worthy, which is the whole point. Why?" I opened my phone and pulled up the deed to the property, turned it toward her. "Because I own it, Claire. I bought it in 2019. I've spent 5 years renovating it. That difficult event coordinator reports directly to me, and those policies you want me to circumvent? I wrote them." The cafe suddenly felt very quiet. Claire stared at the screen, at my name, at the LLC documentation. "That's not... You manage it?" "Own, fully. I'm the majority shareholder and CEO." "But you never..." Her face cycled through confusion, disbelief, something that might have been embarrassment. It settled on anger. "Why wouldn't you tell me? Why would you let me book it without saying anything?" "You never asked what I did. In 12 years, Claire, you've never once asked about my work beyond still at the hotel? You assumed I was, what, a front desk clerk? That's not fair. You literally called 3 days ago asking me to talk to them about your requests using my hospitality experience." My hands were shaking. I gripped my cup harder. "Mum introduces me at parties as the one still finding herself." Claire's jaw tightened. "So this is some kind of test, some twisted game to make me feel bad?" "It was hope," I said quietly. "Hope that maybe you'd see something I built and be proud, or curious, or literally anything except dismissive." She stood up. "I need to think about this." "About what?" "Whether I still want my wedding at your hotel." She grabbed her purse. "This feels complicated now, weird." She left me with both checks. Claire didn't call for 2 weeks. Mum did. "What did you say to your sister?" The accusation was immediate. "Something about you ambushing her with information." "I told her I own the Grandview." Silence. Then, "What do you mean, own?" "I bought it in 2019. I've spent 5 years turning it into one of the top boutique hotels in the state. Claire booked it without knowing it was mine." More silence. I could hear my father's voice in the background, asking what was wrong. "Jordan, this isn't funny." "It's not a joke, Mum. You can Google it. Jordan Hayes, Grandview Hotel. There are articles. I did an interview with Hospitality magazine last year about renovating historic properties. But you never... Her voice cracked. Why wouldn't you tell us? I tried. For years. You'd change the subject, talk about Claire's cases or Marcus's surgeries. At some point, I stopped trying to compete. That's not true. We always supported... You asked me once if I was still playing hotel manager when I was trying to tell you about securing our Forbes rating. I'd just worked an 80-hour week to prepare for the inspection. I heard her breathing, sharp, uneven. Claire wants to cancel the wedding, she said finally. She's embarrassed. She says you humiliated her on purpose. She humiliated herself by never caring enough to ask about my life. She's your sister. Then she should act like it. Mum hung up. Claire didn't cancel. She did something worse. She called my office and asked to speak to my events team directly, not to me. She wanted to continue with the booking, she said, but preferred to keep things professional. Marcus called me. We'd always gotten along. He was quieter than Claire, thoughtful, and asking questions about people's lives. She's mortified, he admitted, and defensive. You know how she gets. I do. She's also... He paused. She's told people you're hotel staff who got promoted or something. She's not telling wedding guests you own the place. My stomach dropped. Why? She says it complicates the narrative. I think she's scared people will judge her for not knowing, for not... He sighed. For not being the sister she should have been. So her solution is to erase my accomplishment entirely? I've tried talking to her. She's not rational about this. 2 weeks before the wedding, I got the final details from Patricia. The client is requesting that you not be visible during the event, she read from her notes. She's concerned it will confuse guests if ownership comes up. She wants me to hide, at my own hotel, during my sister's wedding. Patricia's expression was carefully neutral. Those were her words, yes. I sat with that for a long moment. Then, here's what we're going to do. The day arrived with September sunshine and perfect 72-degree weather. Our team had transformed the ballroom into something from a fairy tale. Thousands of white roses, crystal everything. The kind of elegant restraint that only comes from excellent taste and unlimited budget. I wore a simple navy dress, professional, understated. I stationed myself in my office, watching the closed-circuit monitors showing every corner of the event. Claire arrived at 3 p.m. for photos. She looked beautiful, genuinely stunning. For a moment, watching her laugh with her bridesmaids in the lobby, I'd restored tile by tile, I felt the old ache of wanting my sister back. Then I heard her voice through the monitor. A groomsman asked about the venue. How'd you find this place? Oh, it's some boutique property a friend recommended, Claire said breezily. Very exclusive. You basically have to know someone to book it. The friend she meant was herself. She'd contacted us through our website. At 5 p.m., I went downstairs. I needed to check on the kitchen personally. We were serving 200 dinners, and I always did final quality control for major events. I was crossing through the side corridor when I ran into the bridal party. Literally, one of the bridesmaids, trying to navigate in her heels, stumbled and I caught her arm. Oh my God, thank you. She steadied herself. This place is gorgeous. Do you work here? Before I could answer, Claire appeared. She saw me. Our eyes met. Something flickered across her face. Panic, maybe, or calculation. She's staff, Claire said quickly. Catering, I think. The bridesmaid smiled at me. Well, you guys are doing an amazing job. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. Saw the fear beneath the foundation, the desperation in how quickly she'd dismissed me. Actually, I said quietly, I need to get back to the kitchen. Enjoy your evening. I walked away, heard Claire exhale. At 6:30, the ceremony began. I watched from my office as Claire married a good man who probably deserved better. I watched my mother cry. I watched my father beam. Watched an entire celebration of a family I was apparently not really part of. The reception started at 7:15. Cocktail hour, then dinner, then dancing. Everything is perfect. My team was flawless. At 7:45, there was a commotion near the ballroom entrance. Through the monitor, I saw the bridesmaids surrounding someone, raised voices. Claire's face flushed red. Patricia's voice crackled through my radio. Jordan, you need to come down here. I arrived to find the bridal party attempting to physically redirect me toward the service corridor. Staff use the back entrance, one of the bridesmaids said, her hand on my arm. Not rough, but firm. 200 guests were watching. The band had stopped playing. Claire pushed through her bridesmaids. What are you doing here? This is my hotel, Claire. I asked you not to. You asked me to be invisible. I've been invisible for 12 years. I'm done. Marcus appeared at her elbow. Claire, maybe we should. She's ruining my wedding. Claire's voice was loud now, carrying. I specifically said I wanted this to be drama-free, and I have done nothing but ensure your wedding is perfect, I said evenly. Every rose, every course, every detail. My team executed flawlessly. You got exactly what you paid for. Oh, here we go. Claire's laugh was bitter. You want credit? Fine. Thank you for doing your job. My job. I felt something break loose inside me. 12 years of swallowed words. My job is CEO of a property I built from nothing. My job is managing 47 employees and $4 million annual revenue. My job was featured in Architectural Digest last month for historic renovation, but you wouldn't know that because you've never once Googled my name. The ballroom had gone completely silent. You booked your wedding here because you saw it on Instagram and thought it looked exclusive. You had no idea your little sister, the one who was still finding herself, owned it. And when you found out, you were so embarrassed by your own ignorance that you told people I was staff. Claire's face had gone white. Jordan, no. My voice was shaking but clear. You get to listen now. When I bought this place, it was condemned. Everyone said I'd fail. I worked 100-hour weeks. I lived in a room with no heat for a winter because I couldn't afford renovations and a mortgage. I built this with my hands and my mind and every ounce of determination I had. I looked at my mother, sitting at the parents' table. You asked me once why I never came to family dinners anymore. This is why. Because I'd spend an hour talking about securing a contract with a major travel company, and you'd interrupt to tell me about Claire's promotion. Because my success was never quite impressive enough to matter. Mum's hand was over her mouth. So yes, Claire, I own this hotel. I own the ground you're standing on. I approved every detail of your perfect day. And then you called me just staff in front of 200 people because acknowledging my success means admitting you never bothered to see me. The silence was deafening. Claire opened her mouth. I closed it. I opened it again. I wasn't trying to. You were embarrassed, I said more gently. I understand. But your embarrassment doesn't erase what I've accomplished, and I'm done pretending it does. I turned to leave. Wait, Claire's voice cracked. Jordan, wait. I stopped. She was crying now, mascara tracking down her perfect makeup. You're right, about all of it. I'm so sorry. The words hung there. I was embarrassed, she continued, but not of you, of me, of being the sister who was so wrapped up in her own life that she missed yours entirely. When you told me at the cafe, I felt like the biggest idiot in the world, and instead of dealing with that, I made it worse. I made it about me again. She crossed the space between us. This place is incredible. You're incredible. And I've spent our whole adult lives treating you like you didn't matter as much. Like your dreams were smaller than mine. Her voice dropped to almost a whisper. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so sorry I never said it before. We stood there in the ballroom, me in my navy dress, her in $12,000 of silk and lace, and for the first time in years, I saw my sister. Not the corporate attorney, not the perfect daughter, just Claire. Flawed and scared, and finally honest. I don't know if I can forgive this, I said quietly. Not right away. I know, but I want to try. She nodded, tears still falling. Can I hug you? I let her. It felt strange and familiar all at once. When we pulled apart, I looked at the 200 guests still watching in stunned silence. Then at Marcus, whose expression was relieved. Then at my mother, who was openly crying now. For what it's worth, I said to Claire, your wedding really is beautiful. You have excellent taste. She laughed, watery and broken. I booked a hotel without knowing my sister owned it. My taste is clearly questionable. The dress is gorgeous, though. $12,000. I'm an idiot. You're my idiot, I squeezed her hand. And Marcus is stuck with you now. It's legally binding and everything. That got a real laugh. From her, from the guests, from Marcus. The band started playing again, awkwardly at first, then with more confidence. Conversations resumed. The bridal party slowly dispersed. My mother appeared at my elbow. Jordan, Not tonight, Mum, I said gently. Tonight is Claire's wedding. We can talk later. She nodded, squeezing my arm before walking away. Patricia's voice crackled through my radio. Boss, the kitchen wants final approval on dessert timing. I looked at Claire. I have to go, she said. Run your hotel. I'll be here. And Jordan, she caught my hand. Thank you for all of it. I spent the rest of the evening doing my job, ensuring every course was perfect, every guest was happy, every moment unfolded exactly as planned. From my office, I watched my sister dance with her husband, watched my family celebrate, watched 200 people enjoy a space I'd created. At midnight, after the last guest had left and my team was breaking down the ballroom, Claire found me in my office. She'd changed into going-away clothes, but her makeup was still smudged. I'm going to do better, she said from the doorway. I'm going to ask about your life. Actually listen. Be the sister you deserved all along. I'd like that. And I'm going to tell everyone about this place, about you. Marcus's mother already asked for your card. She wants to book their anniversary party here. I smiled. I'll give her the family discount. Jordan. The real one, not the fake one I offered you at Christmas. She laughed, then grew serious. I love you. I don't think I've said that enough. I love you too. After she left, I stood in the empty ballroom. Moonlight streamed through the windows I'd personally selected. The floors I'd refinished by hand gleamed. Every detail reflected 5 years of passion, determination, and belief in something everyone said was impossible. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Thank you for giving Claire grace she didn't deserve, and for the best wedding either of us could have imagined. You're an artist. Then one from my mother. Coffee tomorrow? I want to hear everything, and I mean everything. I locked up at 2 a.m. I walked through my hotel, my achievement, my dream made real, and felt something settle into place. Not forgiveness, not yet, but possibility. The next morning, I'd wake up and do it all again. Run my business, lead my team, build something meaningful, whether my family acknowledged it or not. But maybe now they would. And maybe that was enough. Sometimes the people who should know us best see us least clearly. But success doesn't need witnesses to be real. It just needs you to keep building, keep believing, and keep showing up, even when no one's watching. Especially then.